Hi, I'm Amanda, and this is all about reading and writing. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I've read. I don't do a weekly check-in or a monthly check-in to hold up all the books that I've read, only because I don't think I would be able to remember what I wanted to say about the books that far after I read them. So what I do is as soon as I'm finished reading a book, I pick up my phone and I record what I think about it and what rating sometimes that I want to give it. And then I pop the picture of the book up next to me so that you can see what it is that I'm talking about. So here is another set of books that I read. Get ready for some messy hair, some tired eyes, and some really good books. Well, I tried to give you a different angle, and now I feel like I'm peeking through everything to try to see what's going on. Anyway, I just finished the Kindle book that I was reading, and it's called Savage Life. It's in a series by Kathleen Kelly, and this is the 8th book in the series, and it falls into the romance category, but a subgenre of that would be motorcycle clubs. And about, 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I found a romance fighting, like MMA fighting series, and somehow that led me down a rabbit hole of motorcycle club romances, and they are everywhere. Anyway, there are a few of them that I'm reading, and I'm just still reading for the sheer fact that I've started them and I'm 6 or 7 books in and I don't want to stop. This is not really one of those. This one is really extended. Like at the beginning, it started out being about the president of a motorcycle club, but like he fell in love with a rock star woman that was like in a band, and she was like the lead singer of a band. And so then we got band members, we started getting books about band members and books about people in the motorcycle club, and then just books about people in the town. And so this specific book is about the sheriff who used to be a detective in Los Angeles, and now he lives in this small town. And he has a serial killer that was killing people in Los Angeles is now shown up again 8 years later in this little town that he's in. And he's targeting women that are associated with the motorcycle club. So the president is having to work with the motorcycle club people. But another thing that I like about her books is in most romance novels, you get the point of view of the hero and the point of view of the other hero, the heroine or the hero, depending on what kind of book it is. But in this book, or in her whole series, you do get their points of view, but you also get way other people's point of view. So I think in this story, we heard from the killer one time in one chapter, but we heard from at least 4 or 5 different people. So it's not just about the 2 people that it's about, which I love, because you get to know everybody a little bit along the way, and you get suspicious of certain people, and then you find out, oh no, that's not them. And so anyway, it was really good, and for a series, it's really good. I mean, it's predictable because it's a romance. You know they're going to end up together, but the things that she does in the middle of the novel are unusual, I would say. Like, they're not what you just think of this happens, then this happens, then this happens, and then they live happily ever after. And it's not like that in her books. And so I like them. And I'm going to give this a 4-star just because I don't know that any of these are ever going to be 5-star. They're not life-changing reads, but they are really good books. And I got sucked into this one, especially about the serial killer and who he actually was, and did we know him, and was he part of the motorcycle club? So anyway, very interesting. It was really good. And if you haven't read them, start at the beginning, because they are definitely interconnected from the beginning to where I am now, which is not at the end. There's still more books. So I'm still going, but that's where I am now. I just finished book 8. Okay, good morning. It's early in the day. I just got out of bed. That's what I mean. And last night I finished another book. This one was on audio. Okay, I have to read the title. Born to be Posthumous, The Eccentric Life and Mysterious Genius of Edward Gorey. Now, I have so many things to say about this book. First of all, I had no idea who Edward Gorey was until I read the book, and then I realized that indeed I did at least see his art style. at some point in my life. I have not read any of his books or short stories as they are. They're all really short books. I think 30 pages was really long for him. So I have not read him yet, but I know that I'm going to get a few things of his. But there are a couple of things that I'm taking away from this book. I feel like I could do an entire thing just on this book, so I'm probably going to be writing a book review of it to put up on the blog so it can be all by itself. But the main thing that I learned about myself or about my writing from the way he writes is that he was okay with not explaining everything. Like, he was totally okay with it being gibberish or not making sense. He said that the reader had enough sense to be able to fill in the blank or say what they wanted to say. And there's a short story that I've been writing, and I got to this one part and I wanted to just kind of end it. And then I thought, I mean, it's a dramatic ending, but I thought, I owe them an explanation for like how this happened or what's going on. And then as I was reading this book just yesterday, when I got closer to the end of it, I thought, no, I don't. I don't have to explain this. I can just end it the way I wanted to end it instead of overthinking and thinking that I needed to provide something that I didn't need to provide. So it really helped. And I think it's going to help a lot inform the way I go forward in my writing. The second thing was that I did not like about this book was the writer seemed to be very obsessed with Gory's sexual orientation. And Gory himself said a few things about it, and it is my opinion that when somebody tells you who they are, and then that's what you listen to, okay? When somebody says, I am asexual, which is what he said, then you listen to him. You don't need to do a deep dive into like the way he dressed and the way he acted and the words he used. Like, we don't need to know, none of that matters when he gives you an explanation. We don't need to know, oh, something happened to him when he was a teenager and now he wants nothing to do with sex for the rest of his life. Okay, but that doesn't matter. And I think that he just took up such a large amount of time worrying about this. And this book was really long. Like, it's over 500 pages. And not until we get to the very end and the guy says, well, he never really came out and said that he was gay, so I guess we're going to have to go with what he said about himself. I wanted to be like, yes, let's do that about everybody, please. Anyway, he did also say, Gory about himself did also say, well, I guess I'm gay, but I've never done anything about it, so that maybe I'm not then. Okay. So, number one, this guy's kind of obsessed with it, but it sounds like all the interviewers, the people who interviewed him in the 80s and 90s, and I think they were also obsessed with it. I just think it's weird that you just straight up ask somebody their sexual orientation in an interview, like a magazine interview. Anyway, that kind of got on my nerves, but the book was so good, like unexpectedly good, and his life is awesome and was so good and touched so many things. Like, he won a Tony Award for making costumes for the Broadway production of Dracula. What? He also did the background, what's it called? Stage production? No, that's not it. I don't know. Whatever, backdrops, whatever that means. He did that too. And he was nominated for a Tony Award for that, but he didn't win it. Also, and also, he didn't even want the Tony Award. He didn't go to the ceremony, and then whenever he got his award, he just gave it to a friend. Anyway, he has a house that you can go tour. It's up somewhere in Cape Cod area. It's just called the Edward Gorey House. You could check it out. I also love that he wrote under pseudonyms that were all anagrams of his name. And so I'm really thinking that that's what I'm going to do with some of my stories, is just take the letters of my name and rearrange them to a different name, and that will be my name for the story. Anyway, I thought that was cute. What else about him? There's so much, and I really wish that somebody else liked him, or somebody else had read it so that I could have a discussion with him. Like, what did you think about this? And, oh, and like his style, if you want to know what his style is like, Tim Burton totally took his style to make his Nightmare Before Christmas and all of that stuff. Oh, and also the guy who wrote Lemony Snicket, or the guy who pretends to be Lemony Snicket, and he wrote A Series of Unfortunate Events. He said he just straight up took all of those ideas from Gory. And even Gory was still alive when the first books were published. And somebody said to the guy, to Lemony Snicket, like, this is a combination of Gory and somebody else. And he said, okay, great. My life goal has been fulfilled. And he sent Gory a copy of all of the books. And he said, like, I hope that you enjoy these. I totally got them all from you. Thank you for the way you write and the way you've been. And so anyway, if you like either one of those, they both totally came from Gory. So maybe you would like Gory. It was a good book, and I'm glad that it turned up as my random NPR biography from 2018. Well, I'm wearing my glasses because we've just been doing school, and so they're still on. Anyway, I'm leaving them on. We finished a book at school today, and it is called Bud, Not Buddy by Christopher Paul Curtis. I'm gonna go ahead and put the little sticker up there because I know sometimes when I'm watching a video and somebody's talking about a book, I don't hear it the first time they say it. And so when the thing is up here, you can just read it better and see it better. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. This book was so good. It's not the first Christopher Paul Curtis book that I have read. The first one that I read was called Elijah of Buxton, which, by the way, if you've not read that book is fantastic and you need to pick it up. However, this one was so good too. It's about a boy named Bud, not Buddy, and he has no parents. He doesn't know who his dad is, and when his mom died, he was put in a home, and the home sends him out to families periodically, I guess, for the summer maybe. I'm not sure how that works exactly, but they're in Michigan, in Flint, Michigan, and he decides, based on some clues that were left behind when his mom dies, he's decided that they're clues, and he thinks he knows who his dad is. So in a series of events, he is managing to get himself across the state of Michigan to Grand Rapids because that's where he thinks his dad is. It's just a really heartwarming book. Number one, it's funny, like all of Christopher Paul Curtis's books are. Just the witty comebacks and the thoughts that he has, they're just super cute. It was the same with Elijah. And so it's just, his writing is amazing. Anyway, there's a really cool author's note at the back because this guy, the guy that he thinks is his dad in this book is based on somebody in Christopher Paul Curtis's life. And so definitely read the author's note at the back once you're done because it makes it real to know that he based these characters off of people in his life and not necessarily what happened to them, but just the people in general and what they do. So it was really cute. Wow. It's clearly first thing in the morning. I'm still really sleepy, but I wanted to talk about a book that I finished yesterday. It was my library pick on audio. It's called The Cost of Knowing. And it was so good. It's about a boy named Alex and his little brother Isaiah. And when we meet them at the beginning, they're living with their aunt in Chicago. Alex can see the future of every object that he touches. And so he has some extreme anxiety from that. And he deals with panic attacks and stuff like that. That's it. I'm not going to say anything else about what happened. Well, I'll tell you this much because they say this on the back of it. He picks up a picture and sees the picture above a grave, and the grave has his brother's name on it. So that's what most of the book is about, him trying to figure out what to do and what that means. She took some supernatural elements, of course. And she introduced us to so many things and so many concepts. And overall, I think the book is about being a black boy in America. But at the same time, she uses all these supernatural elements to tell a really good story about what it means to be a man, specifically a black man, what it means to be a descendant of slaves, and what it means to be brave. I finished it yesterday, actually, last night, and it wasn't too late. I could have made a video about it. I just could not get myself together to do it. I was crying, and it was not necessarily sad tears. It was more like proud tears. Is that a thing? That's a thing, I think. Anyway, I did like that it had, I didn't like that it had just a completely out of touch with everything white lady in it. What I did like about it was that she named her Karen. And I thought that was funny, except for the fact that my cousin is married to a woman named Karen, and she's very nice. So anyway, but I liked it so much, and I'm so glad that it was my random library pick. You never know what you're gonna get, but I wanted a new release. It just came out at the beginning of April, like a couple days ago, and so it was really, really good. Okay, that was another list of books that I've read. Let me know down below if you've read any of those. Let me know if you have any suggestions. I will read any genre at least once, so let me know. Also, anybody wants to do a buddy read, I'm always available to do buddy reads. So let me know below what book you've read in the last week or the last month or whatever. What have you finished that you really liked that you want to talk to other people about? I would love to talk to you about books. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.